Have you ever looked at your bank account, your job, your relationships, and felt nothing? Not anger, not sadness, not relief, just emptiness. It's not burnout, it's not depression, it's something far more dangerous, emotional detachment. Carl Jung didn't just study it, he warned about it, and the truth is most people think they're being logical when they suppress emotion. You want to close that deal, cut that toxic friend, buy that stock, dump that crypto bag, no emotion, just results. But over time, that so-called rationality becomes decay. Your goals lose meaning. Your wins feel hollow. You scroll endlessly, refresh your portfolio, upgrade your lifestyle, and yet your motivation quietly rots from within. We've been sold a lie, that emotions are weaknesses, that success belongs to the cold, calculated elite. But Jung saw something deeper. He said, emotion is the chief source of consciousness. There is no change from darkness to light or from inertia to movement without emotion. Strip that down, and what he's saying is simple. Emotion is the engine. When you detach from it, you don't become a high-functioning rational machine. You become a drifting, disconnected shell. You lose your internal compass. Imagine a ship at sea. Storms come, winds rage, but the ship keeps moving because it has a compass. That compass, it's your emotion. You may not always like what it's pointing toward, fear, regret, longing, but it keeps you aligned. Rip it out and sure, the sea calms for a moment, but you're now lost. That's what Jung called the shadow. Not your evil side, but the rejected parts of you. The things you hide. And in finance, whether you're trading, investing, or scaling a business, that shadow is still making decisions. Just in silence, from the dark. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood as coldness or lack of empathy, but that's not the case. When Carl Jung spoke of detachment, he wasn't suggesting that we stop feeling or become indifferent to the world. Instead, he was pointing to the importance of emotional regulation. Emotional detachment means you've learned to separate your sense of self from the emotional turbulence of the world around you. Imagine you're sitting in a storm, but instead of letting the wind toss you around, you sit in the center untouched. Emotional detachment allows you to observe emotions without being controlled by them. It's like stepping back from your emotions and looking at them objectively, without judgment, without fear. When you detach emotionally, you can still experience joy, love, and passion, but without becoming overwhelmed by them. This practice ultimately leads to inner peace as you stop reacting impulsively to every situation. Jung's view on the unconscious mind. For Jung, the unconscious mind played a crucial role in how we experience emotions. He believed that most of our emotional reactions stem from unconscious patterns or unresolved psychological conflicts. When you practice emotional detachment, you start becoming aware of these hidden emotional triggers. You stop letting the unconscious drive your reactions. Instead, you can start making choices based on conscious awareness. Think of it as becoming the observer of your own mind. You start to notice the old fears, anxieties, and beliefs that have been running your decisions for years. And when you detach, you break free from those automatic responses. This awareness, according to Jung, is the first step in the journey toward individuation, the process of becoming your true self, free from the influence of unconscious patterns. The role of the ego in emotional reactions. Jung believed that the ego, our sense of personal identity, plays a massive role in how we experience emotions. The ego often becomes entangled in situations, interpreting everything as a threat to our identity. When someone challenges us, the ego feels attacked, and that's when we react emotionally. Detaching emotionally means recognizing that your ego isn't your true self. The ego is just a mask you wear in the world. It's not who you are at the core. Once you understand this, you realize that nothing anyone says or does can truly harm your inner peace unless you allow it to. Detachment, therefore, isn't about dismissing your emotions. It's about recognizing that your ego doesn't need to react to every stimulus. You can remain calm, centered, and composed because you're not constantly defending the fragile sense of self that the ego builds. Jung's concept of the shadow. One of Jung's most powerful concepts is the shadow, which refers to the parts of ourselves that we suppress or deny. These are the aspects of our personality that we don't like or accept, such as anger, jealousy, or even vulnerability. The problem with these suppressed emotions is that they don't disappear. They fester in the unconscious, subtly influencing your behavior. Emotional detachment allows you to confront and integrate these shadow aspects. Instead of repressing or projecting your negative emotions, you can face them with awareness and acceptance. When you detach emotionally, you stop seeing these emotions as bad or wrong. Instead, you recognize them as part of the human experience that, when acknowledged, can lead to growth. By embracing your shadow, you no longer feel controlled by hidden emotional patterns. You become more whole, more authentic, and less reactive. How emotional detachment improves decision-making. One of the most powerful benefits of emotional detachment is that it enhances your ability to make clear, rational decisions. When you're emotionally attached to an outcome, it's easy to let your emotions cloud your judgment. You may become overly anxious, attached to a specific result, or too fearful to take risks. Emotional detachment allows you to step back and evaluate a situation with a clear mind. You're able to assess risks and rewards without letting anxiety or excitement dictate your actions. This doesn't mean you become a robot. It means you make decisions based on reason and long-term goals, rather than short-term emotional impulses. Whether it's in your personal life or your finances, emotional detachment helps you avoid making decisions based on fear or over-enthusiasm. Instead, you can choose the path that aligns with your true values and objectives. Emotional detachment and relationships. When it comes to relationships, emotional detachment can be transformative. Many people, especially in romantic or family relationships, get entangled in emotions that lead to unhealthy patterns. You might find yourself reacting out of jealousy, guilt, or neediness. Jung believed that to truly love someone, you must first love yourself, and that requires emotional detachment. This doesn't mean withdrawing affection or care. Rather, it's about not allowing your emotions to be dictated by another person's actions. When you detach emotionally in a relationship, you stop seeking validation, and you start acting from a place of self-sufficiency. You love and care for the other person, but you no longer rely on their approval or emotional state to dictate your own. This healthy boundary creates space for deeper, more authentic connections, and it protects you from emotional turmoil that can arise from dependence or unrealistic expectations. The power of the present moment. Jung emphasized that much of our emotional distress arises from living in the past or worrying about the future. When you're emotionally attached to past memories or future anxieties, you're disconnected from the present moment. Emotional detachment allows you to embrace the now. In the present, you can observe your feelings without being consumed by them. Instead of holding on to past regrets or future fears, you detach from those thoughts and experience the present as it is, without judgment or attachment. This leads to greater peace and acceptance. You start to recognize that emotions are transient. They come and go like waves. Instead of letting them dictate your reality, you begin to ride them calmly and mindfully, knowing that the present moment is all you truly have. Detachment leads to emotional intelligence. Jung understood that true emotional maturity doesn't come from suppressing feelings, but from understanding them. Emotional detachment is key to developing emotional intelligence. When you detach, You learn to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This observational stance allows you to gain insight into why you feel the way you do. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is this emotion trying to tell me? This self-awareness enables you to manage your emotions more effectively. You don't act out of frustration or fear. Instead, you respond thoughtfully, based on a deep understanding of your own emotional landscape. Over time, this practice fosters emotional resilience, and you become more adept at navigating complex emotional situations without losing your balance. The role of meditation in detachment. Meditation is a powerful tool in cultivating emotional detachment. Through meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions from a distance. You sit in stillness, and instead of being absorbed in your thoughts, you watch them as they come and go. Jung himself practiced forms of self-reflection and inner work to maintain his emotional equilibrium. By meditating, you train your mind to detach from the constant stream of thoughts and emotional reactions. Over time, this practice helps you develop a calm inner space, free from the noise of daily life. You begin to understand that your thoughts and emotions don't define you. They're simply passing experiences. This sense of separation between yourself and your emotions allows you to respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and composure. Detachment from outcomes and letting go of control. One of the most liberating aspects of emotional detachment is the ability to let go of the need to control everything. Jung believed that many of our emotional struggles arise from trying to control things that are beyond our power. When you detach emotionally, you stop becoming obsessed with specific outcomes. Instead, you focus on the actions that align with your values, without being overly attached to the result. This doesn't mean giving up on goals or becoming passive. It means releasing the anxiety that comes with trying to force a particular outcome. Whether it's in business, personal goals, or even relationships, emotional detachment helps you let go of the illusion of control and accept that not everything is up to you. This shift in perspective brings a sense of freedom and peace. You work hard, take action, but remain unattached to the result. This is the secret to maintaining inner tranquility regardless of external circumstances, the link between emotional detachment and financial success. When it comes to finance, emotional detachment is a game changer. Many financial decisions are driven by emotion, fear during market downturns or greed during bull markets. Emotional attachment to money can lead to impulsive decisions that harm long-term wealth accumulation. Jung believed that the key to true success in any area, including finances, is the ability to make decisions from a place of emotional balance. Emotional detachment doesn't mean abandoning ambition or goals. Rather, it means making financial decisions based on rational analysis, not emotional highs or lows. Whether you're investing in stocks, real estate, or managing a business, emotional detachment helps you avoid panic selling in a downturn or overextending yourself in a market bubble. With emotional detachment, you can stick to your strategy and remain calm in the face of volatility, allowing your decisions to be guided by long-term goals rather than momentary emotions. How detachment reduces stress and anxiety. Emotional attachment to outcomes often leads to stress and anxiety. The more emotionally attached you are to a particular result, the more you worry about it. Jung's philosophy encourages us to detach from the need to control every situation, especially when it comes to things beyond our immediate control. By doing so, you reduce the mental strain caused by worrying over things that might never happen or things that are out of your hands. Emotional detachment is a form of mental freedom, where you release the weight of constant concern and allow yourself to move through life with greater ease. You stop creating scenarios in your mind about what could go wrong, and instead you accept uncertainty as a natural part of existence. This approach, rooted in mindfulness, directly lowers your stress levels and cultivates a more peaceful state of being. The liberation of not needing external validation. One of the key components of emotional detachment is the release from seeking validation from others. For many, their self-worth is heavily tied to external approval, whether from friends, family, or social media. Jung understood that this constant need for external validation is a trap. When you detach emotionally from the need to please others or gain their approval, you become truly free. You begin to live for yourself, not for the reactions you get from others. This freedom allows you to make choices based on what you value, not based on what others expect. You stop being influenced by outside opinions and start making decisions that align with your true self. In doing so, you build a stronger, more authentic identity, one that is independent and unshaken by the judgments of others. Detachment and self-discovery. Jung's concept of individuation, becoming the person you were always meant to be, can only happen when you detach from external pressures and expectations. Emotional detachment allows you to reconnect with your true self rather than the persona or identity shaped by society, family, or past experiences. When you stop reacting emotionally to everything, you create space for deeper introspection. You begin to see yourself for who you truly are, not who you think you should be. This process of self-discovery can be uncomfortable at first, as it often requires confronting parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. But as Jung taught, facing your true self without judgment or shame is essential for growth and fulfillment. Emotional detachment gives you the courage to explore your inner world, leading to a life that's more in alignment with your authentic desires and purpose. The power of non-attachment in achieving inner peace. The ultimate benefit of emotional detachment is inner peace. Jung's work highlighted that peace is not something you can force or chase. It arises naturally when you release attachment to outcomes, people, or circumstances. When you stop needing things to be a certain way, you create an inner environment where peace can flourish. This doesn't mean passivity or indifference. It means that no external situation can disturb your equilibrium because you are no longer emotionally dependent on it. Non-attachment frees you from the turmoil of constant desire, frustration, and disappointment. It allows you to move through life with grace, knowing that everything is transient and nothing lasts forever. In this state of non-attachment, you find a profound peace that no amount of external success, wealth, or approval can provide. You become immune to the emotional ups and downs that most people experience, and in this stillness, true happiness and fulfillment arise. This isn't theory. Top investors, founders, and world-class performers, from Ray Dalio to Naval Ravikant, talk openly about emotional mastery. They journal, meditate, confront their demons, because they know what Jung knew. If you don't feel it, you can't fix it. And the longer you detach, the more expensive the repair becomes. So here's what I want you to do. Next time you make a financial decision, big or small, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now and what am I avoiding? Because understanding that one moment could save you years of sabotage. And if this hits somewhere deep, hit subscribe, not just for market insights, but for self-insight. Because your money follows your mind. And your mind, it's more than numbers, it's shadow and light. Let's master both.